Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see everybody today, all of those that are participating. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. Most of you know me to some capacity, but for those who do not, my name is Julian King. I am the other instructional consultant and the learning design coordinator at the C.A.L team. And we welcome you to this wonderful webinar where we're going to focus on Kaltura, specifically some functions Kaltura has, how to boost our engagement in courses, and also the video quiz that it offers. So sit back, relax, grab your tea, your coffee, whatever you may need, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Remember that this presentation is recorded, so we will be offering this on our C.A.L channel once this is all completed. And if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please throw them in the chat, and my partner, David, will make sure to take care of that. So happy Wednesday, and let's go ahead and get started. So using Kaltura with Blackboard. So this specific webinar we're focusing on today is going to talk about how to access Kaltura in Blackboard, how to enable your closed captioning for your videos, how to embed Kaltura videos in Blackboard, and how to create a video quiz. And throughout all of these different functions, we're going to talk about best practices for this use. So, specifically, Kaltura offers a bevy of tools for us to use. Some of you may be familiar with all of them, some may be familiar with just one, but we'll get a chance to kind of talk about each of them during this moment. So first, it offers media upload, which pretty much allows you to upload any personal videos, personal audio that you have from your own device or USB or flash drive. So that's if you want to bring your own content that's already created and go ahead and just upload it into Kaltura so it's centrally located. Then it has Express Capture. A lot of you are familiar with that because when you took the OTC course, that was a part of your discussion board, was to introduce yourself via video using Express Capture. But Express Capture enables you to record content directly from your browser without any additional software installed. And that's probably the easiest user-friendly one that you don't have to worry about downloading and cutting this application on and settings and different things of that nature. Then you have Kaltura Capture. Kaltura Capture is a screen recorder that allows you to use your webcam, audio devices, and record video and audio directly from your browser. But the piece with that is it does include additional software that needs to be downloaded. If that is something you are interested in, as far as the screen recording and technology used for that, please feel free to reach out to us in the C.A.L department or reach out to me, and we can set up a consultation time to go through that more in depth. And then Kaltura offers video quizzes, and those quizzes can be seamlessly embedded into your course through multiple ways, and they even have some options of embedding also come with the self-grade for the video quiz. And we'll kind of talk about what that looks like as we continue through our presentation. So we talk about accessing your Kaltura. So there are two ways to access your Kaltura. You can access your Kaltura inside your course. You can access your Kaltura outside your course. Most of the demonstrations, we're going to talk about accessing it outside your course and then putting it in your course for today. But if you are in your course, under your details and actions, you'll come down to books and tools and click on view course and institution tools. And your next step will be clicking on Kaltura Media Gallery. Now, if you want to access it outside of your course, when you log into Blackboard, your navigation and your institution page, we want to come down here and click on Tools. And once you click on Tools and it's highlighted, you'll come around and click on Kaltura My Media. So once again, that's how you access it inside your course and you access it outside your course. If you ask me, I would say access it outside of your course. It offers you a couple different, it's a bit more user-friendly, offers you a couple different more functions when you access it from outside your course than in your course. And it allows you to kind of do more with the content that you have in your Kaltura. So a big thing we're talking about when we talk about accessibility is this closed caption and being able to create these closed caption videos. Well, Kaltura, over a year and some change ago, enabled closed captioning, live closed captioning, and they've been refining the process throughout the duration in these semesters. So the great thing about Kaltura auto captions, they're on average, they're approximately 90% correct. You'll see some videos that we work with today are a little bit less, maybe some that equal that, but that's a very good ratio. But just based on accessibility laws and things of that nature, you want to make sure if you're using anything that's focusing on instructional or pedagogical jargon, that you want to go and make sure your captions are accurate, because a lot of students will be depending on those. And as you all know, if anything that's closed caption, anything that's recorded, the accuracy depends on your audio quality, clarity of speech, and any background noise. So if you're going to go ahead and do that, please make sure you're doing it in a quiet environment where everything can be properly recorded. So now everybody's favorite part of our presentations. So we're going to do a live walkthrough, and I'm going to walk you through the process of enabling our closed captioning for videos, embedding different videos into your Blackboard course, and then last but not least, creating our video quiz. So with that being said, give me 1 second to switch over. Perfect. So as you all can see my Blackboard screen, we're going to enter Kaltura from outside of our course. And we're going to focus on enabling our closed captioning. So just as we followed our directions, we come over here to our tools. We want to click on our tools, and then we want to click on Kaltura My Media. So as you click on Kaltura My Media will display any media, any videos that you have currently in Kaltura. So you'll see some quizzes, some videos you've made from years back will still be stored here. So in this specific case, I want to go ahead and cut on my closed caption. So I'm going to pick this video. When you're selecting your video, we want to come over here to our edit button. Our edit button is a pencil-shaped icon. It's in between your analytics and your ability to delete and or remove your video. So we want to go ahead and select on our edit button. And here it brings you up into a bit of your video piece. So how do we edit certain pieces of our video? And Launch Editor, we'll talk about that later into the webinar. So specifically, we're talking about closed captions. So if I want to enable closed captions on my video, I want to come down here to Captions. And then we talked about that 90% accuracy. This video is 87%. So if I'm using any kind of jargon in this, I will want to go refine that to make sure that it's closer to 100. So when we talk about cutting on our closed caption piece, I want to come over to this icon. This icon all the way to the right, don't show on player or show on player. This is to enable this closed caption button to appear on your Kaltura player. So when the line is crossed through it, that means the Kaltura closed caption will not show. You want to always make sure that that is on so that your closed caption piece for students can be displayed.
Hello, everyone. It seems like there is a little bit of a delay with Julian's video, but are there any questions we can answer now? You can go ahead and unmute, or you can type in the chat box. And if not, let me go ahead and I think Julian is back. Okay, there you are, Julian.
Sorry, I think I got kicked out and or lost. Give me 1 second.
No problem.
But that kind of goes back into my segue. So do I have any questions specifically on this closed caption piece of Kaltura? How to enable Kaltura, how to enable closed captions, or any questions specifically to the closed caption functions of Kaltura videos?
No questions in the chat box. Susie did say, when you showed the gallery before, does that show videos from your students as well in the class?
When I showed my media, I'm sorry, I'll go back to that. So when you're looking at your My Media, this does not show your students' class. This specifically shows your media, everything that you've created.
Okay, and that can be from different courses, different classes.
Yeah, so
okay.
Thank you, Dave. So yes, that can be from multiple courses. Anything that you created on Kaltura in general, whether it was in a course you taught 2 years ago or a current course you're teaching now, will all be located in your My Media.
Thank you, Julian.
No problem. And if I scroll down and go through here, I would choose not to because I have a lot of videos, but you'll see videos from 2020, 2021, different semesters. So this is where your collection will ultimately be. And thank you for asking. So now that we got a chance to talk about what the closed caption feature looks like, we want to get into how I embed a video. How do I actually embed a video into my course? So for this specific instance, we're going to access Kaltura from within our course. So I'll come down to my sandbox. Now, the great thing about Kaltura and embedding videos, you can embed videos in a couple different modalities. So you can always embed a video anywhere you see a text box. And we're going to talk about what that text box looks like in a couple of seconds. Or you can embed a video directly into the page. Now, best practice dictates that you create a document and use a text box to embed your video. We only say that because as we're talking about course organization and course structure, how a lot of courses are in weeks and in modules, we want to make sure that we can put our video into a folder and provide context for our students. If you embed a video directly into your course content page, it just shows up as a video. And students, it shows up to a link to a video and students may not have any context behind what this video is for. Versus if we embed it using the text box, now we can add context about what this video is, what we may want students to do or use with this video, and ultimately the outcomes that may come with this. So in this specific case, I'm gonna show you what it looks like when we embed a video using best practices. So first we're gonna go ahead and create our document. And I wanna come here and select create. And I want to click on document. So the great piece about embedding our video using the text box and using the document is, like I said, we're providing context for students. So I can name this week 3 instructional video. Then I want to come down here to add content. So when I talked about that text box, this is the text box we're referring to when you can embed videos, or best practice for embedding your videos will come here. And it's always because I can always add directions to this, add any context needed. To embed a video, I'll come over here to our insert content, our plus sign to the right of this. And I'll come down here to LTI item. Then you'll come down here and you'll find Kaltura embed. We want to go ahead and click on this. So now you see the list of the videos that are in my media that I can go ahead and embed into this potential course. I'll go ahead and select this video. Once you select embed, it gives you a second to update your display name if you want to change your video name for your students. And then we come here and select insert. And now you see our video is present. And then like we talked about, being able to add content, please. So just being able to add instructions or add any context to that video before we save it for students. And then once I select save, we have our video, we have our closed captioning piece because we've enabled that, and we're able to add any instructions or any things we may want to add for students prior to them viewing this video or after they view this video. And the great part, because this is a document, it's always easier. You can always move this into a folder. Now it becomes part of your organizational structure of your course. And now your course is much more aligned in the design of it. We want to make this as simplistic as possible for our students. So that's kind of speaking to how the best practices for embedding any of your videos into Kaltura. Into your course content, excuse me. Do I have any questions or any concerns necessarily about this embed function? And I did DB. I cannot see full name DB, but when we talk about recording options, yes. So there is a way for it to be picture in picture for your students, for them to see you and the content that you necessarily want to record. Please set up a consultation with me, email me, and I can walk you through what specifically that looks like. We're not going to cover that in today's session, but it does have that tool, and I'll be more than happy to walk you through that. Whoever DB is, it'll probably come to me after the webinar.
And then I see Crystal has another question. Is there a restriction on how long the video can be?
So due to the recording of these videos, most videos can be, I think, up to 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes. I know that for certain, but we will get a definitive answer for you for that. I think when you're uploading your videos, I don't think there is a restriction, but I know when you're recording your own videos, there is a time restriction to that. I've went to about 15 minutes, but I will get a more definitive answer from you from the C.A.L team. No problem at all. So look into that. Now that we've kind of covered the embed, we're going to cover everybody's favorite piece, but everybody came to see the moneymaker, our video quizzes. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. And I'm going to interact with Kaltura similar to what we did in the first step. I want to access it from outside of my course. So I want to come back down to my tools and click on Kaltura My Media. I also say accessing from outside your course gives you the option to see all of your content, which is when you're making your video quizzes and embedding, you want to see all of your content to make sure that you don't have any doubles, or you may have created a video that may be better for one class than another. So you definitely want to take heed of that. So once I find which video I'm gonna choose for my video quiz, I want to come back to this edit button that we used earlier, and I want to go ahead and click on that as well. A lot of these instructions kind of roll back to each other when we're talking about editing and setting things up for our Kaltura videos. Now, this time, we want to click Launch Editor. Like we talked about earlier, this is going to be our function so we can create that video quiz. So if you come to the video editor, it gives you a couple different functions. So your video editor, it's a very simplistic, but you can cut and chop videos depending on how you need. And then we also have a function down here called hotspots, which we're not going to cover today, but hotspots is pretty cool. It allows you to throw different links and different, I don't want to use the word again, but pretty much different hotspots within your video. So for instance, if I'm playing a video and it's focusing on equations and I'm using jargon that I'm introducing to students for the first time, then I can throw a hotspot in at maybe the 10-second point that will send them to a different link that may explain what that specific jargon is used, or go into more detail about a concept that we're focusing on. So it's a great little tool to kind of engage and to go deeper into certain knowledge when you make instructional videos. Once again, it's something we'll probably cover in the future for Cal, but if there's anything that interests you now, please feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to talk about this. I kind of love these kind of things. But back to our moneymaker. So we're coming to our video quiz. So the function, I click up my quiz button up here, looks like our 3-dimensional cube. And this is kind of my starting screen for creating a video quiz through Kaltura. So it'll tell you now, you press start to create a new quiz, and the copy of the media will be created and the original will stay intact. And I think that's big. I don't want anybody to think when you create a video quiz, you lose it. Ultimately, when you create a video quiz, it creates a new copy for it, and your original copy still stays on your media gallery or your My Media. It's just a little bit further at the bottom. So we want to come over here and click on start. So it gives us 3 options or 3 functions that we kind of work through when we're creating our quiz. So first we start with our details, quiz name. If you want to put a welcome message for your students, maybe, hey, watch this video, you'll have 5 questions throughout the duration of this video. Please pay attention. Something very fundamental and basic. It also allows for what we call a pretest function, which allows users to download the list of questions before they actually watch the video. So if you're introducing a concept, maybe you want to use this pretest function so you can make sure your students are actively listening, so they know what they're looking for as they're going through your video. I think it's a great tool to use, maybe not so much in a final capacity, but if you're introducing something or want to remediate any content, I think that's a great tool to use as far as the pretest and allowing students to get those questions early. And then it allows you then it provides you automatic instructions that will be given to students as well under your welcome message. That pretty much says all questions must be answered. Quiz will be submitted at the end. And that's covered within our details. So I always say leave your welcome message on or your welcome page on. I don't really see a reason why not, unless you just don't want your students to be able to access the questions early. If you cut your welcome page off, you notice both of those options go away. So your pretest option goes away and your instructions. So it really depends on how your instructional videos are, the purpose for them, but you do have options in that specific case. So once I get out of the details, we're talking about scores. So now this kind of aligns closer to how it can be self-graded in Blackboard. So you allow for multiple attempts. You allow students to do not show scores or to show scores. Now there is a big piece that I want to make sure I make clear about the auto grade in Blackboard and multiple attempts. If this is going to be an assignment that will be a punitive grade for students, I will allow multiple attempts. I only say that because when we talk about the self-grade, and I'll show you what that looks like a little later in Blackboard, you cannot change the grade from this particular quiz. So whatever they get on the video quiz will be their automatic Blackboard grade. It's not, hey, I can add 10 points to it for being on time. That's going to be their grade. So you may want to allow multiple attempts, at least 2 to 3. That way, if a student gets a low score, they have the ability to bring that score up. So I would advise using multiple attempts, at least 2, but obviously 2 is multiple. And you have the option of averaging the attempts, first attempt, latest attempt, or highest attempt. Then you can talk about whether you want students to see their scores right after or whether you don't, and whether you want to include the correct answers when they're answering questions. Now, like I said, that is up to you. If you're going to probably include multiple attempts, you probably would want to cut off the include answers piece, because we don't want them to go through the video, see all the answers, and then just try to go back and just answer the questions from there. So that's a function I would probably cut off if you're going to use it multiple times. And that covers our scores. So now that we've kind of figured out how we want to go about this, now I can go lastly to our experience. So this is the experience for the user. So do we allow that? My finger's big, so I keep pressing the wrong one. Do we allow our answers to change as we're do we allow students to change their answers as they're submitting their quiz? Do we allow them to skip? I'm not a big fan of skipping questions for the video, but like I said, it just depends on your instructional purpose for the video. I would go more on the lines of not allowing students to skip, meaning that any question that's presented, they have to answer it before they can move on to the next section of the video. If they skip, they can kind of go back and forth. And then this is a big function as well. We want to talk about no seeking forward. So sometimes when you're making longer videos, that 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute instructional videos, we know our students will kind of move through the video as they need. They won't really hear or watch everything. They'll kind of skip through it to kind of get a grip of what the video is saying or overall idea. I think the no seeking forward is a great tool to make sure they watch the entire video, especially if you're able to skip questions or not skip questions and things of that nature. You want to make sure that if you're creating this instructional video and all of the content is meaningful, which we all know it is, we want to make sure you're watching the entire video. So I think that's a great function to add as well, that students will just not be able to move forward in that case. So once we covered our experience for our course, now we can actually talk about what our questions look like. So we notice here it allows us to add a question. When you, that big finger, I just click the side every time. I don't know. Once we click add a question, it gives us 4 options. And we're going to talk about how these options are graded. So you get your multiple choice, your true or false, reflection point, or an open-ended question. When you do multiple choice, it gives you up to 4 multiple choice answers to create a question for students to choose from. When you're talking about your self-grading for this, I would lean along the lines of multiple choice and true false. Only because open-ended question, the way they grade open-ended questions, I don't think is necessarily ideal. And reflection point is considered like a non-graded question. It's great to be used as maybe a journal entry or a piece that you can have students write at the end of the video of, hey, what did you gather from this video? Or, hey, what is the important knowledge, the major knowledge that needs to be taken out of this? But I would stick around multiple choice and true or false if this is something you're going to be used to be graded. And I'll show you after this what the analytics look like when we grade a test and how that comes to you. But so we'll go ahead and click a true or false question. I'll go ahead and make 2 questions. So my first question may be, who is here? Please don't mind my fundamental questions. And then I'll go ahead and save that question. And I missed the function, so I'll go ahead and bring that back up too. When I do true or false questions, these is how I select which one is correct and which one is wrong. So I'll come click the side of the question, whichever one I want to be correct. I'll click on that right edge. The correct answer will always be green. The wrong answer will always be red. Because I know I missed that out on my first piece. And that kind of covers our true or false questions. Then we talk about our multiple choice. And it has that same function. Whichever answer is correct, you add that answer in the green spot. That spot does not move. So you want to be mindful to make sure this is the correct answer is in the space provided for it. So we add a question. Like I said, it gives you up to 4 ability to put 4 answer choices for your students. Whichever choice is correct, we want to make sure that is aligned to our green. Now, our next piece may be, hey, well, what if I want to put it in a different spot? So down here, we want to come to our editor. And this editor, as you see, allows you to scroll to any part of our video. So wherever you want to add that question in, you go ahead and scroll to a specific time. You can always watch it just to confirm, okay, this is the section I want to add this question to, and you come right back and you add your question. And you see your cube is here to note that you've added a question here as well. So when we're done, so now we've added our questions to this. Now I want to see what it looks like. You have the option of previewing your quiz before you actually save it to your Kaltura. Once we understand that, hey, this is exactly what I want, I previewed it, this is going to be perfect for class, then we just come up here and click done. So you can go to your media page. Your media page will display this quiz and you can go through it yourself. Or if you're unsure after you've seen your preview, this is what you want. Now we want to talk about how do I put this quiz into Blackboard. So when we're talking about putting our quiz in the Blackboard, there's a couple different options for it, but I want you to err on the caution of applying it directly into your course. That way you can use the self-grade function for it. And Mr. King, hey, what does that mean? So when we're talking about applying it directly into your course, I'm talking about coming right here to your create, or even within your folder, come into your create, and we want to go down to our content market. I'll do it right here just so you can see it outside of a folder. So we want to come down to our content market. And scroll down and you'll see that Kaltura interactive quizzes. That is where you'll find your newly created quiz. So once I go ahead and click on that, now we see this quiz I just created is right here with my embed function. So I want to go ahead and select embed for this quiz. You see your success. So now we see our quiz in the LTI item link for our students. Now you're going to want to edit your due date. If we want to edit our due date and how many points is this quiz worth, if I have release conditions that, hey, I don't want students to see this quiz till next month, you want to come over here to our ellipsis. You want to click edit. Once you click edit, you kind of have a bit more functions for the settings of the course, the settings of the quiz. Whether it's opening a new window, hey, I don't want this to be open till, I don't want this to be due to the 31st. Whether I wanted points, I want this to be out of 6 points. And what category do I want this attached to? I want this to be a test. You can feel free to add your optional descriptions, and then we can go ahead and save this. So when students see it, and they're in student preview, which I'll go ahead and I want to cover right quick. When students see this, it appears to them as a normal quiz. They don't see the LTI item. They click on this, they click on the link, and then it'll take them to launch, where they can go ahead and launch this quiz. And if there's some multiple attempts, they'll see their submissions and all of that. Sorry, moving the box out the way. So before I talk about what that grading looks like, do I have any questions pertaining to the video quiz, putting it through Blackboard, or why we do any of the steps that we necessarily do?
And quick question, Julian, are you able to embed the quiz instead of adding it as a link?
Am I able to embed the quiz? So yes, you are able to embed the quiz, but it will not be self-graded. So when I say self-graded, it means that it will not be self-graded directly into Blackboard. And I want to show what that functionality looks like. So if I come down to gradebook, we had, so 1 to 3 submitted. Let's go to this preview. So here, so if we're looking down here at the bottom, that's important in exporting a test on Blackboard quiz. This is what I used in Kaltura. This is a Kaltura quiz. But when I say the grade cannot be changed, we notice in different categories, if I click on it, Ultimately, I can come overwrite the grade or change it. You cannot do that with your Kaltura quiz. If you click on it, it'll take you directly back into the link. So if you're embedding it outside of directly and through your course content, it will be something that you're going to have to grade yourself.
Got it. And I see another question in the chat box. Can a faculty upload their PowerPoint and use Kaltura quiz function for it?
Absolutely. So that's where we talk about that that Kaltura capture, where you can, or if you already recorded through PowerPoint, because I know PowerPoint does the recordings now, you can upload it to Kaltura and then create a video quiz. If you don't use PowerPoint to record, you can use Kaltura capture to screen record while your face is in it and go through your presentation and then turn into a video quiz. So yes, both are options.
Thank you.
No problem. So now that I showed you that, I want to walk through what the analytics look like. So say you choose not to embed it directly into your course content and you want to embed it on a document page like we did our other video. So if you wanted to access that data, we want to come out of here, go back to our tools and our My Media. So as I scroll down, this is the quiz we were talking about earlier where it's self-graded. If I come down, I want to click on this analytics, the button to the left of our editing pencil. So if you click on analytics, we'll give you all the data for your video. And then we talk about quiz users. So it says who took the quiz, how many attempts, what their final score was. And if I wanted to remove this attempt, this is where you will come to do that. The great part about this is all this information is printable on PDF or Excel. Even their attempts, how they fared on each question, all of that is also printable on Excel or PDF. And this is where you will come to see how they did. Answer 2 right, 1 wrong. This is where you will come to see all user information for all those who attempted your quiz. So if you choose to do this, that it's absolutely fine. It just you may want to be mindful of how many questions you're going to put in your quiz, how many students you have, because this will end up turning into a lot of back and forth between Kaltura and then the grade book, putting everything in. And when I say it self-grades, everything will self-grade, but whether it goes directly into Blackboard or whether it stays in Kaltura is the difference when I say that. This test imported directly into Blackboard, so that score stayed there. For the other tests, they will still be scored and graded, but it will not import into Blackboard. You will have to manually move those grades over yourself. And I hope that answered any confusion you may have had with that particularly. So I think that's kind of covered for our analytics. Do I have any questions about the video quizzes, the self-graded features, the analytics that go behind the video quiz, questioning features, anything of that nature? And I can't see it, so. And then just to make sure we make this point that we know that a lot of faculty are uploading different videos into Blackboard, whether they're from your own personal collection or videos you may have created before. We definitely want to make sure we're uploading these into Kaltura because that saves space in the Blackboard. And we know that sometimes we get those emails, hey, can you add more space? I'm running out of space. If you upload these videos into Kaltura, that saves a lot of space in the Blackboard, which ultimately saves space within your course. And just for your own personal collection for faculty that teach multiple units of something, especially from spring to fall, spring, summer, and fall, I would definitely err on uploading these videos into Kaltura so they're always in this Blackboard gallery. You never have to worry about re-uploading them every semester. They're always there on Kaltura, so you can always just go to each week or each module, embed them, and the process is just a bit more easier for you, unless you don't have to worry about finding that hard drive or finding the file on your computer. because we know all of us kind of have a lot of documents and a lot of tabs on our computers.
And Julian, I see a question from Professor Hinnant. Can you play the video to show us how the quiz looks?
Absolutely. So I'll come over here to the one this one we took yesterday. And actually, excuse me, I want to do this from student preview because I want you to see how it looks from student perspective. Saying they're going to be the ones taking most of these quizzes. So when I come over here, I'll click on reauthorize WebEx. And we say students will come click this launch button. David, can you still see my screen before I start this?
Yep, I can see it.
All right, perfect. So if you notice, this is when we took out our welcome page. So whenever you start the quiz, it gives us our how many unanswered, how many questions we have, and we have to select our answer. It's colored.
And then Julian, when you're sharing, if there is sound, we're not hearing that sound if there's a sound on the video. You might have to share the sound when you share it on Zoom.
Oh, I do. Okay. We have to reshare it. And just if anybody's wondering what the video sounds like, it just talks about how we reauthorize WebEx in your Blackboard. But then you see how your questions for students appear at the bottom for students. This is one of those reflection points we talked about. So it allows students, if you're thinking of trying to use this for a journal entry going forward, some questions kind of get them thinking before they have to go and put to their journals. If students have the ability to skip, this will be their function for it. If you can't skip, you notice it won't let me go back because we chose our do not skip function. Students will have to watch this entire video and press continue when they're ready to complete it. And this specifically is just the one we made today. When there's the one I made yesterday, it has the welcome page. If students do not answer all the questions, so now we see almost done, it appears that some questions remain unanswered. They're gonna have to go back and complete those questions. And this arrow will be how they navigate to them for questions that are closely beside each other. So I'm going to go ahead and move off of this. So I hope that kind of help you see visually what your students will see when they're taking this WebEx, when they're taking this Kaltura video quiz. So with that, David, do we have any more questions pertaining to anything that we've kind of covered today?
Well, there is another question. Can students also make their own video quizzes? That could be an interesting assignment.
That could be. So I have to see what it looks like from a student perspective. I know students have the ability to express capture. Mm-hmm. I'm unsure if they have the ability to create their own video quizzes, but I will get back to you on that. That is nothing but a quick research, and I can definitely respond to that this week.
Excellent.
Well, with that being said, I kind of want to move back here. I'm sorry. Please be the right one. Yes. Ooh. So next steps, anybody that's interested in going deeper into Kaltura, the hotspots, the video quiz, embedding, I'll find out about the students being able to create their own video quiz. That would be a great tool and an interesting way to check for mastery. If you're interested in anything or any of the functions we talked about today, or you just have any general questions about Kaltura or its use, how different ways you can incorporate it in your class or your specific pedagogy, please feel free to reach out to me. My email's below. Like I said, most of you have met with me to some capacity before, but never hesitate to reach out. That's what we're here for at the Cal department.
And Julian, I wanted to thank you again. This was a great webinar. I learned so much about Kaltura myself. So if you look at the chat box for everyone here, Julian's email is julian.king@udc.edu. You can also check our upcoming professional development offerings starting in February, as well as sign up for Cal office hours that are offered every day of the week. If you'd like to view this recording again, it will be shown on our YouTube channel, so you'll find that right there. We also have a website of Kaltura resources, getting started videos, etc. on our Cal website. And last but not least, if you have some time, we'd love to hear your feedback on this workshop or any other PD that we offer. This workshop, again, is called Boost Engagement with Kaltura Video Quizzes. If you click on that link, Julian King did a great job hosting this workshop today. So if there's anything else you'd like to see or any other feedback, we would greatly appreciate it. All right. Thank you again,
Absolutely.
Julian.
Absolutely, no problem. And please provide us feedback. That's the only way we grow. You won't hurt our feelings. We're all grown here, and we take constructive criticism absolutely positively. So please, and thank you for having me.
And are there any other questions from the group before we say goodbye today? You can either unmute or type in the chat box. I think we answered all the questions already in the chat box. Thank you so much, Crystal, Bev, Nelda. Excellent.
And Bev, I saw your message. Please reach out and we can discuss this more. No problem at all.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Julian. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for enlightening us with Kaltura quizzes.
No problem at all.
Thank you, everyone. So with that, we'd like to thank you one more time for coming to our webinar today. Julian, any final thoughts or tips?
None at all. Only tip, just be creative in how you want to use it. We're all about student engagement and creating the best atmosphere for our students. So the video quiz for students was something I never thought of. We also talked about interactive syllabus. And if anybody wants to hear more about an interactive syllabus, please come talk with me about that. It's going through your syllabus via Kaltura and then creating a video quiz so students can kind of check behind that comprehension and make sure that they've understood the major focuses within your syllabus. But yeah, we have some ideas. So please come talk to us at the Cal department and we definitely can meet about them.
Yes, and really, if you'd like to work with Julian and I on doing video quizzes, really doing a deeper dive, we are always here. So thank you so much. So with that, please stay safe. I know tomorrow will be quite cold. This webinar will be uploaded to our YouTube channel within 24 hours. You can also view the recording again. And we'd just like to thank you one more time. So have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.